What's going on, everyone? This is Cadman Cycling. Welcome back to the channel, and we're back at Crit City here for another race. A little bit of a worse starting position here. I'm a few rows back. I actually joined this race just maybe a couple seconds before it started, so that gave me a worse starting position. But anyway, back at Crit City, this is a 9.8 mile race. It's 8 laps around in the bell lap direction. So once we get through the starting banner, we'll take a right-hander here through the starting banner, and then we'll take a left-hander up here and immediately get to the kind of gravel uphill roller section. So this is the bell lap direction, and then eventually that will take us downhill the cobbled climb. I actually think this is the harder direction around Crit City. The other way around is called the dolphin lap. So generally any Crit City race will go this bell lap direction. But any anti-sandbagging FutureWorks Crit City race usually goes in the dolphin direction. Again, I'm not sure if that's 100% of the time, but that's what I've seen just in the few races that I've been a part of. So this is a Category C race. Looks like we have just over 65 riders. And this again is footage from a couple of months ago. My last race that I published, last video came out last week, was also from a couple months ago, and then this one was just 3 days after that. So I'll provide the link up above, but in the last video it was my best overall power output. It was 255 average watts across the 9.8 miles. And I stayed with the front group until maybe half a mile left in that race, and then just got dropped. Was able to outsprint a few people to still finish near the front, but overall was my best power output. So this race is just 3 days after that. I'm looking to build on that performance, as I was really trying to up my kind of overall power output, overall speed at that time, as I was getting more into Zwift and more experienced with these races. So as we're going through the first lap here, again, my goal here is exactly the same as any other race at Crit City. These races are fast, they're tiring, but they really only last just over 20 minutes long. So my goal is stick with the front group. If there's at some point is a split in the front group, which there always will be, I just want to make sure I'm close enough to the front that I don't get stuck in the back of that split. Especially at such a short race and with the high speeds, you really never see a chase group that's able to catch back on the front group. So my goal is to stay with this group, stay near the front in case a split does happen, but don't actually spend any time on the front if at all possible. So we've just completed the first lap. Each of these laps is 1.2 miles long. So in today's video, I'll just go through laps 1 and 2, and then I'll go ahead and skip forward. A lot of times with these races, a big group can really form on the front and just stay together for the majority of the race. And as we get to kind of further on in the race and people start to tire, that's when some of the splits form. So my first time through the banner, I got this featherweight power up. So I'm using it on this kind of roller section that I think I mentioned this in my last video, but this for me is the toughest portion of the course. I think it's easy to get dropped there. I like using a draft van if I can. In that case, I also used a featherweight on some of the steeper bumps or rollers at the end of that section. So I'm exactly where I want to be, 11th place with this front group. I haven't really been spending time on the front, so I'm not wasting energy. I'm trying to conserve as much as I can. It's still very early in the race, so I'm taking it as easy as possible without getting dropped. And that's really the mentality that I'll keep for the majority of the race as we make this turn and go back down the cobbled climb section. So as the weather's gotten nicer, in the northern hemisphere at least, it's the summer now, or getting later into the spring, towards the summer with nice weather, I've been able to get outside on the bike a little bit more. So I haven't been racing Zwift quite as much. That's why I'm pulling this race from a couple months ago, but I'll definitely be throwing the bike back on the trainer a few times, and always shooting videos and showing you all of these races when I can. Just wanted to share a little bit about the bike that I have. So I only have one bike that I use on both the trainer and then also for my outdoor rides. I got it a few years ago when I first got into biking. It was actually my first ever road bike. As we'll go ahead, we skip forward to 5 miles left, so this is the 4th lap. Still with this front group. But this was my first road bike I got a couple years ago. It's a 2018 Cannondale Synapse. It's an aluminum frame, carbon fork with disc brakes, and it has the Shimano 105 components. So like I said, this was when I first got into biking. I thought it was a good all-arounder bike, good bang for the buck, that it has the 105 components, but wasn't crazy expensive at the time. So something that I'd be able to keep for a while and felt like it was a good investment. And I've been really happy with it, both on the trainer and also riding it in person. But I would be curious, for those who are watching the video, maybe leave a comment. What bikes do you ride? And do you have an outdoor bike and a trainer bike? Do you use the same bike for both of them? And maybe kind of what are your reviews? Do you like your bike? Any bikes you're looking at purchasing in the future? Would definitely like to talk about that, because I love the bike I have now, but 10 years down the line, who knows what bike I'll have. To be honest, hopefully I'll have at least a second one so I don't have to take my same bike on and off the trainer. But yeah, that's definitely a dream and hopefully a future investment. But jumping back into this race, lap 5 now, still with this front group, but the heart rate's up there, getting close to 190. And it looks like I'm kind of, a split is starting to form, and it's much more single file. So you'll start to find that later in the race now that we're over halfway through in the second half. It really, you lose the bunching of the front group and you see a lot more of this kind of single file. And what's ultimately kind of leads to people getting dropped. And that's exactly what's happening to me right now. Is it was all single file, so just 1 or 2 riders ahead of me put in a bit of an effort to try to rebunch with that front group, and I just got lost. I either didn't have the energy or missed the move, and all of a sudden I'm now sitting back here on my own as the front group is kind of rolling away from me. So lap 5 of the race, definitely not an ideal position here. Just 4 miles left, and I've kind of already lost the race from here. My best bet is now to kind of drop back, see if I can join a second group, and still try to finish in the best position possible. So really, that goes to show how quickly a race can kind of get out of hand. I was in lap 5, felt good with the front group for the past 12 or 13 minutes, and all of a sudden I'm really out of it. In just a couple of seconds I fell off the back. So here, just jump forward, it's lap 8. Not a whole lot happened in the rest of the race. I did catch back on a later group that I then got dropped from again. So this isn't exactly what I was looking for after my best power output a few days before, but hey, that's Zwift racing. It's not your day every day, but the overall goal is over time to improve as I'll come around the final corner to the finish. But I just wanted to say thanks for watching. And on the topic of bikes and bike accessories, I did add a few links into the description of some of the accessories that I use both on the bike outside and then also on my trainer for indoor cycling. So if you're looking for some accessories, those links, I would highly recommend some of them, and I use them. I wouldn't recommend anything that I don't enjoy and hasn't worked extremely well for me. But I appreciate you all watching these videos. Until next time, I really can't wait to bring you the next one. This is Cadman Cycling, and I'll see you then. Bye.